Hey guys, Akil Stokes here, and welcome back to another episode of the Trading Coach Podcast. Thank you as always for joining me. Big thank you for all of the support that you guys have given. We've just passed episode 300, and I don't typically look at the numbers too much, but I figured since we're at this milestone, let's take a peek and see how we're doing. And we are just crushing it, right? Last month, we made all-time highs in downloads. This month, the month of February, which is a short month, we're on pace to even crush that number. So a big thank you for you guys working so hard out there, liking the podcast, sharing the show, and of course, lending ideas for us to discuss. I know it doesn't seem like it. We have the Trading Coach Podcast Facebook group now where people can come together and discuss topics and episodes, but what you guys are saying and what you guys are asking, it is really having a massive effect on the trading community out there. And I'm getting so many positive messages. In fact, today I shared an episode. It was called, I think it was 188. It was called The Day That Changed My Life Forever. And I said in this episode of the Trading Coach Podcast, I shared the story of when I realized that my trading was wrong or going in the wrong direction. And it was time for me to make a change. And right away, I got this cool response from a trader that says, hey, this one hit me hard. It really hit home. It's a problem that I've been waiting to figure out myself. I've been trying to teach myself through trial and error, and I'm coming to the fact that I need to understand that if I want to reach where I want to reach, I need a coach. And without a coach, you'll die playing pickup games, and I don't want to play pickup games in trading. And there's truth to that. Don't get me wrong. I've never been out there to say that, hey, you need a trading coach. You need to, buy a trading course or something like that to be successful. You certainly don't. There are many that are self-taught, and there are many currently trying to self-teach themselves as well, through books and the internet and articles and whatnot. The truth is, the benefits of having a coach, a mentor, or even a group of traders to surround yourself with, the truth is that it saves you time, right? Trial and error takes a very long time to get past. You have to fail and then learn, and fail and then learn, and fail and then learn. That takes a massive amount of time and typically a massive amount of money to do so. Yes, you're still going to struggle a little bit when you have coaching and mentorship and whatnot, but at least you're taken on the right path. You know exactly what you have to do, so you spend less time in that trial and error mode, which results in you getting successful quicker and spending less time, or less money, I should say, in the markets. And I thought about that because in today's episode, I'm going to share with you one of our accountability sessions from a trader that we work with. And he mentions how he really spent 10 years, for lack of a better word, I guess, trapped in trading, right? He would pick up trading, he would try to learn to trade, and then he would stop, and then he would try new things, and then he would stop, and then he'd take a hiatus because he was frustrated, and then he'd pick it back up and repeat the process of always trying and failing and trying and failing and trying and failing. And finally, he got involved with us over at Tier 1 Trading, and it gave him some direction. And more importantly, it gave him accountability. He shares a story of how he recently hooked up with a few of our traders on the platform. We have senior members, we call them ambassadors, who have been here for a while, who have really done an amazing job of taking younger traders under their wing and walking them through the process, right? Sometimes with tough love, but sometimes that's needed. And he's happened to hook up with a few of them, and now he's in the right direction, and he's starting to see the path of where he wants to go next. So enjoy this episode. I think many of you will relate. I certainly related. Although I didn't spend 10 years, I spent a massive amount of time struggling. For you guys that know my buddy out there, Michael Lamont, he spent about 10 years struggling in the stock market before it finally clicked for him as well. So there is hope, even if you're in the double digits for struggling. All it takes is, again, I don't want to say one thing, but all it takes is one point in the right direction to know what you have to do. And then, of course, the ability to actually do it. So check it out. As always, leave me a rating for this show. And if you're interested in joining our platform, even if it's on a 14-day trial basis, head over to www.tier1trading.com. The first thing I recommend that you do before you check out all of the cool stuff we give you is to introduce yourself to the community. Say, hey, I'm here to learn. I'm on a 14-day trial. I want to sponge as much as possible within that 2-week span. I guarantee it'll be beneficial for your trading. All right, let's hop into the episode.
Amazing. So tell us where you're at then, Andrew. Tell us a bit about yourself.
Sure, of course, yeah. So this is my third accountability session now.
Yep.
So basically, last time I was my last accountability session was in November.
Yeah, it was like 8 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, around 8 weeks basically. Yeah.
What was you doing then? What was you just working on then?
Sure, yeah. So last time I went on accountability session, I was still in the courses. So I was just about to begin the mastery course.
Yep.
And my goal was by the next accountability session, which was like the next 2 months, was to finish to be around close to finishing all the courses.
Okay, and how did you go about planning to do that? Did you set aside a certain amount of time to get through all that?
Yes. So basically, I have a schedule. So I work full time. So I try to spend 1 hour from Monday to Friday, and then I try to spend 3 to 5 hours on Sunday and Saturdays. So that's the amount of time I scheduled. But to be honest, I struggled with that.
Right. Okay. So how many hours was that? That was a couple of hours a week, eh?
That was probably giving me around 10 hours a week. Yes.
10 hours. Right. Okay.
10 hours. Yeah. But to be honest, I struggled with that as well because I actually never shared my story before. But basically, long story short is that I'm trying to trade. I'm trying to learn how to trade for probably like 10 years already. And every time I go back to trading, I try to find a new thing, then I kind of give up, and then I forget about trading for a year or two. So
okay, that sounds perfectly. That sounds very common.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, that's so actually that's very good. Because that's actually my story. How I was trying to get into trading since basically high school. And now it's my another try. And to be honest, after the last accountability session in November, I was close to giving up again.
Right.
So
why was that?
That was because
shiny object.
Yes, and lack of patience probably as well. Because I was going through all the courses and I didn't see any action, which was my problem. It was hard for me to stick in and get the foundation first, get the education first. And like having to hold back and not to trade was really difficult for me, especially after 10 years of not seeing results. I'm kind of like I'm kind of like ready for the action, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you realized it took a little bit longer than you thought.
Exactly, yes. So I'm actually reaching 1 year on the platform. I will be here for 1 year in February.
Amazing.
Yeah, and
how just going on to that last bit though, how did you like a lot of people go through that. So how did you overcome it? Like, why are you still here? What made you carry on?
Honestly, I think it's the community.
Wow. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
No, seriously. If not for the community of Tier 1 trading, I probably would have given up already. So just to give you a few examples, I spoke to Akil recently and just to get some advice from him, and he was very friendly and reminded me of my why. I should remember my why. I should just write it down, remember why I'm doing this.
Yep.
Then I spoke to Gabrielle. She's on today, by the way, and she's always extremely supportive. So she always answers every single question. It's just, that's amazing. And I know that she probably would have kicked my ass in April in Amsterdam if I didn't reach my goal. So that was.
Are you going to Amsterdam? You're going to the vault?
I will. Yes, I am. I have my
Amazing.
flights booked already, so I will be there.
I'll see you there.
You bet. Yes, Gabriel. Thank you so much, Gabriel. By the way. and the last push was actually Akil, who turned my last podcast, my last accountability session into a podcast. So now I know that people just will hold me accountable, so I cannot quit now.
Yeah, no, that's amazing, man. And I think a lot of people can really relate to that, because I know in my own journey that if I wasn't around the right people, I probably would have, I would have slipped as well. It's so important to have that person, especially when you're on the last knockings. You're really towards the end of that journey, and you feel a bit deflated. The last thing you need is just to be alone. The most important thing is to be around people that go, look, you're doing so well, look, you're really nearly there, just keep with it, and supporting you, because it's very lonely otherwise.
It's true. Trading is very lonely, and I've experienced that for the last 10 years. Really, it's hard. It's a struggle, really.
Okay, so what's different now? Like, what are you? What's the new lease of life? Where are you going with this now? What's the plan?
So since the last accountability session, after all this support I've actually received, I just started going through this. I was in the mastery course back then,
Yep.
and I changed the strategy a little bit. So instead of learning all the strategies in mastery course, I decided I want to make it a bit easier. I focused on one strategy. I watched all the videos from mastery course, but I focused on one, on ciphers at the moment.
Right.
Just so I have something to start with, just to make it a little bit easier for me, because I really need action. So I pre-backtested ciphers. So I finished the courses, including mastery and blueprint.
Yep.
And that was so I basically surpassed my goal for this accountability session. So I did that already. And then when I went on to pre-backtesting ciphers,
yeah.
So I just had like an initial look, 5 years of data on Euro USD 4 hours for ciphers. I tested 3 different stop losses and 5 different take profits. And my next step will be to start the proper backtesting, because pre-backtest actually allowed me to like help me finding ciphers and exactly train my eyes. So now I think my next step is to do the proper backtest.
Amazing. So what's the plan for that then? I'm really drilling out of you a plan now, because now you've told me that you was flaky. I want a solid plan. Like, I want to know what your steps are. What you're going to do? How are you going to ensure that you get that thrashed out and tested?
Yes. So this morning, I got my Excel working finally, because I didn't have Excel before. So I have the spreadsheet finally working, and I'm going to start the Euro USD 4 hours, 10 years of data. Gabriel actually helped me advised me how to get 10 years of data, because I want to do a longer backtest. So I want to finish Euro USD first, 1 pair. I actually don't have a time frame for that. I'll just see how long it takes. But I know that by the end of this quarter, I want to have the backtesting done on 1 or 2 pairs at least.
Excellent. Okay. So
I hope I will. I hope I will surpass this goal. I think I will. But yeah, that's my plan. By the end of this quarter, 1 or 2 pairs properly backtested, good amount of data, and writing my trading plan, just getting ready to go live.
Excellent. And when do you think that will be realistically?
I hope in the second quarter of this year.
Right.
I want to start small with only ciphers on 1 or 2 pairs, and then I will add more as I go along.
Excellent. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing your progress over the next quarter, because this is going to be a big one for you. Is there anything that you're really struggling with that you want to kind of tell the group and see if you can get any advice?
Actually, no. I think I'm kind of asking the questions on the chat as I go along, so I have everything answered. But probably I will get more questions. I'm backtesting, so we'll see how it goes.
You sound like the tone in your voice is quite refreshing. It's like you finally accepted, like this is it, and you're going for it this time. It's like you're more relaxed than I spoke to you last time. You seem like you just know what you've got to do now.
Yes, it's true actually. Yes, because last time I was struggling with the courses, and I actually enjoy backtesting. You know, I like building new stuff. So backtesting gives me that feeling of action instead of just consuming courses.
But remember, when you finish backtesting and then you go live, you lose all of that. So that's something you need to work on preempting and preparing yourself for that, because there's not a lot to do once you once you go live. So that's a big struggle, and I always bring that up, but it's so important.
Yes, I think that's why.
Listen, Andrew, thanks for coming on, mate. I really appreciate your time you took off to come and talk to us today. I know you're going to get value from it because you've now put yourself out there, and I look forward to seeing you in Amsterdam. I really look forward to meeting you, and you can update me there.
Thank you so much, Jason, for having me, and I will see you in Amsterdam then.
Amazing, and no doubt this will be on Akil's podcast as well. So have a great weekend, mate.
Thanks, Jason. You too.